Greetings from the NorthOps studios in Redding, California, and welcome to Thursday's edition of your Fire Weather Webcast. I'm your host, Jeff Tonkin, returning from retirement for cameo appearances to assist the folks here as we march toward the heart of the fire season across Northern California. In the previous image, I showed the map of the Green Fire near Shasta Lake. Here's an overview showing the larger fires across Northern California and Southern Oregon. Note the largest acre fires are the Green Fire and the Butler Fire near the confluence of the Salmon and Klamath Rivers, while most of the fires in southern Oregon are approaching containment, except for the Board Shanty Fire near Grants Pass, which is currently at 30% containment. Looking at water vapor imagery shows an upper-level low-pressure system just off the central coast of California. This cutoff low feature is about to become very influential for Northern California as it drives mid-level moisture into the region along with increasing instability. Like most cutoff lows that rotate off the coast in the summertime, a sharp increase in thunderstorm activity is expected to begin this afternoon across Northern California while stretching into late Friday. With an abundance of lightning expected over the next 36 to 48 hours, the National Weather Service has multiple red flag warnings in effect, shown in red across portions of Modoc, Del Norte, Humboldt, Trinity, and Siskiyou counties, while fire weather watches are in effect for southern Humboldt, southern Trinity, and portions of Mendocino and Lake counties in beige. The green shading is for coastal flooding due to higher than normal tides around the Bay Area. Reviewing this morning's visible imagery shows a healthy marine layer and associated fog and low clouds along most of the coastal areas along the state. Also seen is some patchy fields of ACUS clouds over the central interior of the state, and including Glenn, Mendocino, and Lake counties, a common precedent to thunderstorm activity. Taking a look at the upper level forcing pattern from the GFS model at the jet stream level, is highlighted by the cutoff low west of the Bay Area, funneling wraparound moisture and lobes of energy across central and northern California. Looping this feature into Friday shows it modeled to weaken into a broad trough but persisting over most of the state. Extending the model into early next week shows a stronger low pressure system dropping south out of Alaska and maintaining a general trough pattern over the west coast in California through much of next week. This pattern should support cooler than normal temperatures with occasional bouts of afternoon thunderstorms, mainly along higher terrain. Taking a little closer dive into thunderstorms and beginning with mid-level moisture pattern from the GFS model shows fairly dry conditions between 10,000 and 30,000 foot altitudes this morning, but looping through late Friday shows a blob of moisture settling over Northern California. Reviewing higher resolution model reflectivity from the GACC model shows thunderstorm activity beginning across the east side of the state early this afternoon, then spreading westward and northward through the evening hours. Note the strongest returns appear to be localized over the Lassen area and also the Trinity Mountains. By this evening, activity diminishes, but notice some cells building and moving east to west across the southern Sac Valley, reaching the Mendocino coastal range just before sunrise. A similar pattern resumes again on Friday afternoon, shown here, with perhaps a little more intense activity centered over the northern mountains. Looking at model precipitation to get a sense of whether the storms may be wet or dry shows a bit of a hybrid effect with rainfall or small hail mainly around the stronger cores. Note, however, that during the nighttime period the cells seem drier, which tends to be common during nocturnal lightning events. And reviewing overall precipitation expected during the next 48 hours shows the highest precipitation mainly around the cores of stronger storms, generally around the Trinity, Siskiyou Mountains, and southern extent of the Cascades. It is noteworthy that any strikes that fall outside the cores will likely be mainly dry, shown in purple. Looking at wind fields for this afternoon shows generally light onshore westerly or south winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour, but some gusty westerlies of 15 to 25 can be expected across the Greater Bay Area and Monterey Bay eastward. Also note some locally gusty outflow winds are depicted along the Sierra and Cascades and to a lesser extent around the Trinity and northern mountains. Min-RH values later this afternoon show moist conditions along the coast and coastal interior areas. Even the normally drier east side of the state is above normal for this time of year. Driest areas will be along the Sac Valley, where values will get down to the high teens or lower 20% range. The 7-day significant fire potential table shows the highest risk of large fire due to lightning across the northwest mountains, northeast California, northern Sierra, and far east side in red boxes today and tonight. Brown boxes for moderate risk are in effect for Saturday before lowering the rest of the period due to a cooler air mass and less lightning activity expected. Summarizing today's NorthOps fire weather webcast highlights. An upper low pressure system off the central coast of California will slowly weaken while remaining quasi-stationary over that region. This feature will promote thunderstorm activity over much of northern California mountains through Friday. Abundant lightning is likely during the next 36 to 48 hours and will be mainly focused over the Sierra, Cascades, and northern mountains. Some lightning is also expected across the Trinity and Siskiyou ranges as well. Strikes will generally be hybrid of wet and dry, with heavier rain generally around the cores of stronger cells. Some nocturnal activity may occur tonight through early Friday morning, stretching from the Coast Range to the lower Sierra. Any strikes during this period will likely be drier. Wind and RH fields over the next few days are favorable, except for locally stronger outflow winds, which could range from 25 to 40 miles per hour at times around stronger thunderstorms. This concludes today's fire weather webcast.